So why don't we get started? Did you click the, okay, so we're good to go. This last couple of weeks has been very transformative and intense for a lot of us. Is there anyone that's had it light and fluffy the last couple of weeks? Everyone's been pretty kind of energetically intense. There's been a lot of things going on. And before we get started with the channeling part, Spirit told me that all of us really need to take a couple of deep belly breaths. What's really been going on with the energies that are shifting within us, the vantage points, the perspectives within our thoughts and lives that are changing right before our eyes, that sometimes we don't even realize how much we're seeing and experiencing things differently. We just need to take a breath and let those energies, when you breathe, that's how you bring the energies into your body, through breath, the inhales and the exhales. So let's take a couple together, and you can follow me or go on your own. Just take a nice deep breath. And if you can, let that breath come all the way down into your belly. You can just exhale and then try it again. Let it sink down into that belly. And then blow it out. And then again. Notice how the energy is coming down. Let's do it again. It's really important right now in our lives and these rapidly evolving energies to really connect in our body, like bring an anchor. When we breathe and you take time to consciously breathe, and I will say this, if any of you want to dive deeper into breathing techniques, I'm doing a little evening, sometime in February, we're gonna go into breathing techniques to help, because when things are changing sometimes in our lives, sometimes we have a tendency, it's just human nature to hold on. And if you hold on with your breath, you hold on in your life. So breathing tools are very, very powerful. It's been a lifesaver for me the last 10 years on this evolving journey. So if that ever calls to you, Spirit keeps telling me I need to just offer that. So let's do one more. We're going to take one more nice deep breath. And if you ever in your life feel just you're holding in your abdomen, because a lot of us hold here. That's where we, if we're not feeling in our power or feeling overwhelmed, anxious, we hold here. And it's a good practice to breathe deep. Sometimes those of us have a tendency to, chest breathe, but we need to bring that down into our belly. And you can just inhale through your nose and exhale powerfully from your abdomen and out your mouth. And it's a really powerful technique to release anxiety, release tension, release stress, and even allow your energy to kind of fall deeper into your body, allow your soul to kind of sink in a little bit more, so to speak. Alrighty, so it's time to switch gears, isn't it? Yep. So I invite each and one of you, as I just relax and let Spirit have a council of energies that work with me, and we'll be speaking, I feel, tonight, and that could shift to an archangel or another group or that sort of thing, and we'll just kind of go with the flow, and it could last 10 minutes or it could go the whole rest of the time we're here, or just kind of let it unfold however it's supposed to be tonight. And I'm putting an intention out that we get time for questions tonight, because I feel that's important, that we open up the space for questions. Welcome, friends. We are so grateful to be in your presence today and for each one of you joining us on this journey tonight as we assist you in your lives and with the energies that are working in your lives right now. Each and every one of you at this particular time in your life has a choice to make. It may be as simple as a choice to be happy, or it may be as simple as or complicated as a choice to leave a situation in your life, to let that old thread that has been reoccurring, could be an emotional thread, could be a way that you see yourself that doesn't serve anymore. But this is the time to choose what it is you really want to experience in your life. Do you wish to choose joy, abundance, peace, or do you choose to stay tattered down by lack, limitation, or seeing yourself from an unworthy perspective? Now is a massive choice point this year for each and every one of you. Some of you are beginning new things, and some of you are having massive completions, and some of you are having all of the above happening right now at this very moment. And it's so important to remember, as we were talking through Michael earlier, to breathe in your life. You must breathe right now in your incarnation, in your life's experience. You must breathe. Because these energies that are coming in are things and frequencies that you have not experienced before. They're cracking open, changing your DNA, changing your cellular structures in your body. Every single one of you in here, without exception, is opening up to intuitive levels that you probably, many of you don't even are aware that are going on, your capabilities that are there. And that is also why many of you are drawn to connect with other like minds so that you can learn how to use these abilities and how they're operating in your life and how powerful your ability to make choices in your life is. A choice, when you decide something, it literally either opens the door or closes the door to an energy in your life. So, dear ones, please, when you leave today, take some time in your life this week to ponder, what is it that I need to close doors that I don't want to experience anymore? And what is it that I'm ready to open a door to? It may be specific, it may not, it doesn't matter. This is all about choice and intention, that you are a stream of God consciousness, whatever God means to you. We mean all that is. You are a part of the all that is, and your choice is creating the universe. Each one of you are creating the universe as you make choices. Each and every one of you are creating and supporting the energies on the planet and the Mother Earth energies as you make choices. We are going to be saying these things many times over the coming months because each one of you, as you continue to grow and develop, it will sink in differently. as to what this means for you at that time. But you are one with the planet. You are one with the earth. Your energy, your soul is all connected. So when each one of you carries a thought of resistance toward love, of harboring resentment toward yourself or others, those are the energies that are being kept on the planet. And when each one of you choose to love yourself unconditionally, to let go of the old, no matter how challenging it is, that doesn't serve you or that you no longer wish to experience, you are bringing love and anchoring love on the planet in those choices, in those moments. Each one of you are the anchors for it. It's not anything out there that is doing the work. It is each one of you collectively together that are making the change towards love and peace on the planet. But remember, it always, always, always starts from within your own heart. Many of you hear this over and over again, but we see that not everyone is getting that on the same level. You're getting it where you are right now, where you are experiencing life right now is how you're getting it. So it is important that we keep hearing this and experiencing it through different channels, that it is truly a within scenario. So we ask each one of you to take a moment, take a breath, and feel your own energy right now. Some of you may have a mental concept of what that means, and some of you may have an experiential feeling of what that means. But wherever you are, however you are experiencing your energy is perfect right now. Just take a moment and ask yourself, what are the choices on my life plate right now? What decisions can I make? What areas in my life can I take a look at and choose to love myself more? To love others more by letting them go when they don't serve in my life anymore? Just take an inventory this week. The energies, the channel has asked us to please talk about the energies that are and have been going on as of late. Many of you are aware that there have been great astrological, energetic, transformational events that have been happening. You just fell out of this retrograde of Mercury that in astrology, what happens is when you're in this retrograde period, your lives tend to circle back into all of the unresolved. And you begin to look within. It's like your whole life circles inward. It gives you an opportunity to reflect against different situations from your past that are still happening right now. It's an amazing tool to utilize. The more aware you become of these energetic cycles, the more that you can gravitate and understand what's actually happening right now and how you can use them for your best benefit. But many of you may have noticed these last couple of weeks that emotional activities, feelings, different types of life experiences may have recircled back into your life for you to look at. emotions you thought you were done with came back to just let you know that they're there and they're okay. This energy has just, as of yesterday, it went back into what's called a direct state. And many of you may begin feeling that your life is starting to move again. But so much has changed from the inner work that has happened these last couple of weeks. Many of you may be feeling almost this stagnant place where you're like, what do I do? Where do I go? What's the next step? This is the transitional period of where you get to decide now from your new vantage point what you are choosing. And many of you already know that you have some incredible opportunities right at your feet. Some of you have even started going full out forward on them. And some of you are still questioning whether this is the right thing to do or not. So this week is a very powerful week to really get clear within yourselves. Am I willing to go into the uncharted? Am I willing to try something new that I don't maybe have any concept of what that looks like? And those of you that say yes, the universe always has your back. And those of you that say no, you'll get another opportunity to kind of look at scenarios and go, okay, go through the opportunities again, and it will bring you back around at some point to another decision. But know that if you choose to go back through some of those lessons, it's not good or bad. Just know some of them may be challenging. Some of them may, the next time around, be a little bit more intense. This one that's speaking has had many circle back arounds of highly intense experiences. And through those, he has learned much from going back through over and over again until he learned to make a new decision, a new choice, that he was worthy, that his gifts were real. And each and every one of you has your own inner critic that you get to decide to listen to the critic, or you get to decide to listen to your soul calling you to your next best choice, your next best path, your next best experiences in your life. There's many in here that are being called to the arts right now, to heal, to find joy, and most importantly, the arts teach you how to create your life. There's no better tool to learn how to create your life in the physical clay of this human experience that you are in than to draw, to paint, to dance, to sing, to get your whole body into the deliciousness of touching, feeling, tasting, smelling, moving. It will literally wake up the joy within you. And it will also show you where you don't believe in your own self. So we urge you, every one of you that are being called, every one of you is connected to the higher energies within and around you, to the universe. You ask and you receive. It's just listening to those gentle reminders as they come back around. Look in the paper. Remember that class I saw? just those little nudges are the divine, your angels, reminding you that that's where it's at for you. Sometimes, as the human vantage points that you are right now, you think that you have to do these grandiose things, or maybe you minimize either one or the other to find your joy. But it's the very smallest little nudges and increments that help the most. So we ask you, just as a reminder, to pay attention to those nudges that keep coming within you. To go to a group, begin writing, all of these activities. This one, in doing readings, he says the same thing over and over and over and over again. And the angels keep saying the same things over and again. So this is a very powerful way for us to tell you all that life is to be enjoyed, life is to be created. You're the artists of your own life. And whatever that looks like to you is the way it's supposed to be. Whatever form of artistry that you decide to paint your life with is perfect. It may not be with a paintbrush and paints, but if you're called and you've never painted before, now's the time for you to pick up a paintbrush or a coloring book and let those colors, let yourself go and move into the colors of life. That's what this experience is all about, is learning just to surrender to the colors of your own soul and let them flow into this life. So again, we say these energies right now are very intense. They've lightened a little bit for you, but this entire year is going to be about surrendering to your divine path, wherever you are right now. So paying attention, we cannot state it enough, to those threads are so important. And moving on those threads as they come into your experience will bring you the peace, the joy, the abundance that you all are all asking for in your own ways. And we thank you for letting us speak to you this evening. And we are now open for questions. If there's anything in particular that's going on in your life that you would like to ask about or have a perspective shined upon, we're happy to assist you on this journey. And the angelic realm is here as well. They're going to come in and be a part of this for those of you that have been asking for angelic interventions and support.
I've been feeling pretty much everything that you've been describing. It's actually been going on probably for the last 3 years. And I'm ready to find that joy. I'm just wondering, am I ready? I want to. And I just want affirmation that what I'm doing right now with my job, with my life, is going in the right direction.
Dear one, you're exactly where you need to be right now. Just remember to surrender those critical, that inner critic that's constantly judging, analyzing, is this right, is this not right? And at times you get caught in those cycles of that inner critic taking over and telling you, you should have done this, or you should do that, or this or that. As you surrender to the gratitude within of where you are right now, your next step will be revealed. And appreciation brings the highest vibration to align you up with guidance, to information, and the universe to take you to the next step. So we ask you to just focus on the gratitude for where you are right now. Take a couple of days to just line yourself up with gratitude, because you have had an amazing journey. You've had a lot of changes. You have grown so much. And you can see things very clearly. And trust that, because that's what you're seeing is the truth.
And ignore that critic.
Bless the critic.
Okay.
Be grateful for the critic. But you have the choice. Your soul, your God self has the choice to say, critic, you're over here. You can be the commander of your own ship in your life and tell your critic it's over here. Because that critic, our ego, that critic is designed to keep you safe within the confines of how you've lived. So your soul gets to choose. You have to tap within, and from within, from that light within, from there's the only place that you can choose and to supersede the ego. Because the ego was set to do its task. It was tasked to keep us safe within the confines of what we've experienced. So if you just remember to do that, set that critic to the side, all of you, when it comes forward. This one does it a lot now. And then go for it. And all is well.
I want to ask, despite all the energies around me, making me feel like I'm more or less trapped here. And just curious if I'm doing what I need to be doing to see myself focusing more on myself instead of worrying about things around me. I feel like it's the time to do something for myself, for lack of a better way to say it.
We're going to answer your question and include everyone in it, because what you're saying is very much happening on a much grander scale. Many of you are asking that question, am I doing the right thing? Am I on my path? Why am I here? All of these very powerful questions. And we ask you back, with what is on your plate right now, are you lined up with your heart? Are you doing what in your soul heart of hearts, what you desire to be doing? And if the answer to that is no, for example, if you are helping someone that is not willing to do their own work and help themselves, that would be an energy of where you would be just giving your energy away. And if you have scenarios like that operating in your life, now's the time to go, okay, this is just an energy draining path over here. And just be aware of it and make a conscious choice from that point. Some of you may be in jobs right now that you don't like. The best way out of a job that you don't like is gratitude. As quick as you can get your vibration up around the current place where you are right now is as quick as it can shift. The best path out of any job or situation that you don't like is finding the positive aspects within that situation. And as you bring your own vibration up around it, for example, if you are working a job that you absolutely hate, that nothing about it lines up with your soul, how, when you are a magnetic being of attraction, are you going to bring something when the focus is on the negative aspects? How can there be any room for something that brings you joy? So we ask you, each one of you, to remember to be grateful and find that gratitude for some aspect of where you are and what you are in at this very moment. Maybe it's just the financial gain that's coming from it. We all, and you all, need that. So allow yourself to be truthful within your heart space that something doesn't resonate, but then at the same time to keep your vibration high around it, keep it uplifted, focus, pull out your sword of gratitude and just cut right through that negativity. And we understand that it can be very challenging, but it's something that as you work on that, therein lies the best teaching tool of creating your life that you could possibly have, is to have something in your life that you don't like. Because from that vantage point, can you learn to bring your vibration up, to find gratitude, and then from that point, from a happy, high vibrating point, you can literally hop to another place and the door will open quickly. So utilize where you're at right now as a hopping point, as a place to get yourself into joy mode. Get yourself happy in life. If you don't enjoy the job that you're in, find activities outside of the work that you absolutely love to do. And you are in one of the slowest vibrating, creating machines there is in the universe, this earthly plane that you are in. Things take time. And all of you hear spiritual teachers and different people say, be in the moment. But that is a very intellectual concept to 99% of those that listen to this over and over again, because they're looking for joy outside, forgetting that the joy comes from within, and you have to remember to breathe. The breath helps us slow down enough, slow down to actually enjoy the bite of food you put in your mouth, to enjoy the stroke that you're painting on a painting. And this one right now is working on a project that he has struggled getting started for many years, but every day is choosing to enjoy and find joy in every stroke. And it has been very challenging, but he has conquered it. And his project is blossoming very rapidly, more rapidly than he's ever seen in this type of area. And it is with this that each one of you has your own areas in your life that are blossoming and coming into bloom, and your creations. But find gratitude and joy for all of the negative things that you have experienced in your life. And some of you may have had an abusive situation. And yes, that is a very traumatic thing from your human experience. But on another perspective, those energies are teaching you something. And you can't go back and change it, but you can change where you are and the way that you see that right now. Through gratitude, through forgiveness, through loving what is. So thank you for your question, because that is a very broadly experienced by many of you right now. Are there any other questions?
I have a question. A lot of things are changing for me as far as work and where I'm heading, and just, in a state of flux. So I'm just trying to see my path a little clearer, which is not real clear right now.
We ask you to pull out your dancing shoes and start dancing every day. When you get out of bed, we're saying not necessarily literally your dancing shoes, but your mental dancing shoes. Put them on. And if you choose, when you get out of bed in the morning, that life today is going to be a dance, I'm going to get jiggy with it. I'm going to flow with it. I'm going to not get stuck over here with it. And if I do, I can just roll out. Let all of those experiences just give you an opportunity to bump up against something and then dance out of it. Put on your dancing shoes. Either mentally or literally go out and put on your dancing shoes, whatever brings you joy. And you are an artist of many mediums. And we invite you to explore, because your life, if you choose that you are worthy to be successful in the arts, then that will happen for you.
Is there any is there anyone in particular that I'm more capable of doing or gifted with?
One that you haven't experienced as much. You have a musical side that we would like to see your energy play in music a little bit. It would help you open up to another level, but you are a very gifted painter. You were a painter in a previous lifetime in France.
Oh, wow.
And you bring those gifts, if you allow them and play with them. Put your dancing shoes on and paint. Pull out your brush with nothing in mind as to what it looks like, and let the energy just flow through your body, and you will begin to further develop your painting ability. And many other of you here, notice in life when you bump up against a wall and then you feel stuck. Maybe it's even as we were describing with the painting. You pull out a paintbrush, you pull out a pen, maybe it's even your journal. You go to start writing and you just feel stuck. Nothing's flowing, nothing's coming out. Take a moment when you're in that place of stuckness to go, what am I afraid of? And the first thing that comes to you, write it down or let it come out. Let it have an expression, let it out. Because for generations, you have experienced the judgment around expression in your life. Everyone in here comes from various familial backgrounds that have felt judgment. It has come through your DNA. Those belief systems, you've witnessed them. And those very basic belief systems that are operating and are being cleared, that's the discomfort that many of you are feeling, because those belief systems are coming up to be released, changed, and new ones for you to see a new perspective in your life. So just allow, play, that light energy, this energy that you have come out of may have left you in kind of a heavy, dense, raw state. But it's a beautiful state to start from because it's, we say, empty. Many of you are at an empty point, and there's nothing better to be emptied so that you can be filled up by something new. But that ego part of you is always going to be there. Always. It's not about pushing it away or putting it on another planet. It's about choosing to have a relationship with it, and that you are, your soul, your higher self, is the one in charge. You get to make that choice, and you get to create that relationship, that your ego self is over here, and I choose love right now. I choose peace. And I'm willing to go through that discomforting period of however long it takes until it integrates into this whole being, peace. That's what meditation is really about. Many of you have had meditation practices or have choose time in your daily lives to just take a moment and sit. Meditation is the art of being with what is. It's not about clearing your mind or wiping the slate clean. It's about being with what is. And in that what is moment, not attaching to those beliefs. Cultivating within yourselves the ability to be a witness to what you're thinking and what you're feeling, instead of being a constant owner and taking on what you're thinking and feeling. And when you begin to create that and build that strength, that ability within you to be a witnesser of your life, then from there, it becomes easier to set your ego to the side because you're not all tied up in it. You're not attached to the beliefs and the outcomes and all of those kind of things. And many of you here have grown so much and learned so much about this in your lives.
I have a question.
Yes.
Let me see how to phrase it. I've been asked about workshops and to utilize my art in workshops has been a dream, but it also touches a very tender spot in me, and so I've been very hesitant about moving forward with it. In fact, I've been putting off answering about it. And I just get all tied up when I start to go there, because my art has always been just me. It's a world I've lived in. So to bring other people in that space and then teach intuitively from that space is intimidating, even though I have been an art teacher. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about creating from a higher space. So I wanted to know whether that would be a good thing for me to do, or just leave it for me. leave it just for my own journey.
Your heart's answered its own question, because you know within your heart, do you not, that your heart and your experience, in this experience, you long to experience what that's like, to work in those energies with others. It's scary because you're going off into a cliff of unknown that you have not experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where the ego goes, wait.
Yeah, I don't know what it will look like. I have no idea.
And the best things in your life, always you don't know what they will look like. So go for it.
Okay.
One step at a time. You don't have to take a super big leap. You take one little leap.
Okay.
And maybe that we are offering, maybe that is a workshop with 5 people
Mm-hmm.
that's small, that is very basic, and just lets you kind of dance in those energies yourself a little bit. So that, and then do another one and another one. This one took much time and is just starting to integrate how what was just said. The project that he is working on, he didn't know, and it was so scary how these different parts were going to come together. But we kept telling him that until he actually sat down and just started playing with the pieces of the puzzle, that they came together and found their niche. One part of the project he had to redo 5 times before the pieces found themselves. But that's what this earthly experience is all about, that many of you forget, is it's a trial and error. You learn from the negative experience. That's what the duality of the human experience is all about. If you didn't have it, you wouldn't be human. So please, go for it. You will find much joy there. Just an introductory period. And we see your angel wings, which are gold and silver and pink and red, just coming out as you do that. And they carry you wherever you need to go.
Any advice career-wise? I thought it was winding down, but I'm not quite sure.
Dear one, you've spent a lot of time doing what you've been doing, and it's important to have some time of just playing with yourself a little while. We encourage you again to explore your own forms of creativity, to open up your soul to other possibilities. One that you may want to play with is working with textiles or threads and yarns and different kinds of knitting, those kind of things. Playing in that area, because when you play in the artistic realm of you, of your soul, you begin to set yourself free. And that freedom is something that you need to experience for a while before you make a decision of which way you go.
I never knew I had any artistic abilities.
And many of you grew up, including this one, was told that you're not artistic, you're not creative. And every single soul is creative. Some create in the mental realm, some create in the physical, some tie them all together.
How about piano? I've always wanted to play, but I've never taken any lessons.
There you go. There's your first start. Your hands are the most important piece to this for you.
There's lots of changes coming, and a lot of people are going to be probably hurt by lots of those changes. I just happen to know some of those changes are coming up, so will we weather the storm?
Take it one step at a time, and absolutely you will weather the storm.
Will they weather the storm?
It is not your concern as to whether they can weather the storm. It's only your concern as to whether that you weather the storm, and your ability to weather the storm is an example for them. And it is their choice if they choose to take it or not. You are your own light. And when you realize that, then you allow other people to have their own light and find their own light. And sometimes in our human experiences we don't like, because it feels not so nice to watch other beings going through negative experiences. But how will they ever learn if they don't go through them? It doesn't mean that you can't reach out your arm and help them if they're willing to receive. But that is not always the case. In many cases, it would cause drama and all kinds of not so fun experiences for you that would be worse and tie you back into the old loop.
Right. I don't want to be in that loop. Thank you.
Wait, did you
Yeah, I have a very personal question, but then also as an empath, I feel for all of us, for a lot of us. I've been through a lot of change and feel a whole lot of anxiety, but I feel it in this room so strongly. There's so much anxiety right now. And I was kind of guided to ask what would be the first step to, working on anxiety, reducing it from your life. But then I kind of heard actually the first 3 steps. So that's my question. Like if all these guides here could tell us 3 things to do. to
So we
help
first-
with anxiety.
we first ask you, both individually and collectively, what are you afraid of? Anxiety is based on expecting something to happen, and if it doesn't, then that fear comes up. Something negative will happen. So we ask you in this process, each one of you in this, have the ability within yourself to ask that question. Each one of you is very self-aware, and you have the ability to ask that question. That does not mean that there aren't other tools along the way, but to truly get a handle on anxiety beyond the stuck with medication and all of these things that many people are stuck on, you must ask yourself, what am I afraid of that's going to happen? And if it happened, what's so bad about it that couldn't get fixed? We suggest you asking yourself, dialogue with questions, or get someone to work with you that can ask you questions and be a mirror and a reflector on those things and create a safe energy to explore those fears. So that is one aspect that is very important to explore for anxiety, but on a practical, everyday, how do I get through this anxiety? Many of you would be very helped by first, and we say this with some silliness, taking some time to look in your households, because many of your households have things and experiences and old energies filled with anxiety. And to take some time to detox your households of things that no longer serve you where you are right now. As an empath, half of the things that you're picking up are things that are done. You're picking up on a lot of old energies, and remembering that as sensitive ones, it is important to create regular routines and a pattern that works for you, all of you, to live in peace, to move those energies, because your sensitive bodies are crystalline in nature, and if you pick up a vibration, it like resonates through your whole being. And if you have a place within your life lesson area that is going to teach you something in particular, it will vibrate even stronger. You have an opportunity there, it might vibrate and be more painful or stand out a little bit more. So please look in your households, and many of you are sleeping in areas that have a lot of negativity. And you forget that when you go to sleep at night, oftentimes you dream and you're working through old energies from your life in your dream state. And it would be so wonderful if you would bless your room every day in a form or fashion that resonates to you, because it matters not. And if you wish for some help, specifically any of you with ideas on that, please ask the channel or one of the others that are here in the store, or there's many others here that are just here that can help with those ideas. But many of you are experiencing in this rapid evolution that old energies are hanging out in little nooks and crannies of your life. And we so recommend that you literally do a winter cleaning now before spring. It would be tremendously helpful. And for your own, if you're one that has a lot of sexual energies that you need to release, creative energies that need to be released that aren't, it's going to be even more challenging for you, because those energies are trying to find a way out. You need to create in your life. The human part of you has sexuality, and each of you have your own contracts and choices. And for some of you, that's going to be stronger than others. And you have to learn how to move those energies. And for you, dear one, if we may, the sexuality is very strong with you. And it's important that when you don't have the opportunity to connect with someone, that you learn how to harness those energies and move them through. Because when they build, you get frustrated. Then you get very sensitive. And creativity, again, we would recommend you find something that your time can get lost in, that you can love doing, that's creative on the side.
With the angels who have been coming through to me, and I know they're here tonight, what would they recommend that I do next on my path?
So first, we want to say, because the channel saw this earlier and he didn't get a chance to say it, but you have Metatron working with you very strongly right now. And you may be feeling this energy that's kind of building around here, and it is Metatron's sacred geometry that's building, and it's creating a matrix for you now to build this frequency that you have been talking about, of vocalizing different energies. And this will be evolving pretty rapidly for you, but we suggest that you allow yourself to make sounds. Whatever sound comes out of your mouth, because there's a part that's resistant to making certain sounds, and to allow yourself to be free, you must push against those thoughts and let yourself make the sound anyway, and see that it's okay. You will find yourself progress very rapidly. And you keep asking about doing readings. Within you, there's this energy of actually doing readings for people. This keeps coming up and cycling in some way for you. Just do it. You're about to go on a whole nother leap with it all, but you have to just keep doing it. And you're going to find this little step that's just going to take you to a whole different place very soon if you keep doing it. And Michael wants to work with you more, Archangel Michael. And the Pleiadian, you have a Pleiadian light council that is beginning to work with you.
Oh, that's who that was last night. Okay. I didn't.
So just start playing with us, and we will engage you. And there's some healing tools that we will give you. Any other questions?
You've been talking about, well, they've been talking about breathing a lot, and I was smiling because I've not been able to breathe for the last few weeks. I'm holding my breath. I'm like, what is wrong? It just feels so heavy. I'm just not breathing. And I'm not sure what I can do personally to help or why it started. But so that's the first thing you said was, y'all need to breathe. I'm like, oh my God. And I still feel like I can't breathe.
So we're going to give you some tools, because this is something that you literally, you break through it. You have to kind of get past that uncomfort level, and thank you. We're going to let the channel talk because he's very experienced with breathing. We thank you all for working with us tonight, and we look forward to supporting you at another time. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about breathing tools, and everyone, this might be helpful. The first tool that really came up for me, who's heard of the breath of fire? Okay, breath of fire is awesome. I'm going to sit down because it's a little easier to work with. Breath of fire is a way to activate and really pool the light energy in your abdomen. So if you're feeling heavy, lethargic, drained, it is very powerful, and basically all you do, and it might be a little weird at first, but it's total belly breathing. So I find it helpful to really put my hands on my belly, kind of get, familiar with my belly. And there's a lot of different ways to do this, but for you, I'm going to give you another tool too to play with it, because you can do alternating nostrils, and they show me that would be really helpful for you, but we'll set that to the side for a moment. So just watch for a minute. And I could do this all day long because I've done it for many years, but you can slow it, start at whatever your pace is. So your pace may be,
What's your goal? What's the goal? Just
there is,
feels
wherever you are right now, like if you start getting lightheaded, just kind of relax a little bit, because most people, when you start doing breath work, it brings so much energy into your system. You may not be used to that amount of oxygen, but once you get it in there, you'll be like, could go through the roof with joy, and like it brings all this light energy. It's amazing. But if you would do just simple breath of fire, so let's all do it for a minute. I'm just going to do it for about a minute. Go at your own pace, but the only goal is that you push your belly out. Don't try to keep it all tensed up. Just let it relax, because this also helps with anxiety and getting moving through a lot of things. But so let's just go. And then,
Question.
go ahead.
Are you trying to get the breathing to feel the belly up, the air, so it's supposed to go all the way down before it comes back up?
Mhm.
Okay, explain
It goes straight to the belly. So if you find yourself, that's where a lot of us have learned to breathe, is chest breathing. And there's a time and a place, some really powerful chest breathing techniques, but we need the energy, most of us, down in our creative centers, like we're this human part of us that we feel and all of that. So if you would literally do that, if all you could do is 1 minute in the morning, like when you get out of bed, it will energize you. If you did it, I wouldn't recommend it before I go to bed because it tends to be energizing, except if you're still feeling just, I've done it. And when you're comfortable with a minute, you could just add, I've done long time practices where I'll do 5 minutes a day in the morning when I get up, and it clears everything right out. But again, the breath of fire is really good for energizing. And if you want to add, which would be really powerful for you, because the right and the left channels of our body are kind of symbolic of giving and receiving, the masculine and the feminine. So if you,
Hold one side.
yeah, and do the same thing. So I'm just going to do it, and you can alternate, which would be good for you.
I like that.
And I tend to like to do it for like a minute on one side sometimes and a minute on the other. If you do that, and I would highly recommend, because it's pretty fun to actually feel how these tools change your energy and kind of wake things up. If you do like a minute on one side, the more you do it, like I actually feel that side, and the more sensitive you get, the more you can feel the energy channels clearing out and stuff by doing it. It's pretty cool.
Okay, very good.
So
Thank you.
I highly recommend playing with that. Basic fire breathing and the alternating nostril, and then hold on one side or the other.
I'm going to. Thank you.
And that's, I was been guided, they keep telling me to do a class on it, because there's so many different tools for so many different things. Stuff for meditation and mediumship and all kinds of stuff. So,
Thank you.
any other questions?
My daughter's 13, and I recently found out that she's mentally ill, and my dad was really mentally ill, like seriously, and I just wonder, that seems like a pattern, and I just wonder what.
Would you like to, can we talk after about that? We'll focus on that. Is that cool?
I feel like I've been getting a hint about traveling.
Mm-hmm. What is a Florida?
I didn't think I was going there. I was thinking more Massachusetts. But
I feel like but there's something with Florida. It just went whoop. What is it? It feels like a short trip. There's something down there energetically for you. Definitely doesn't feel like a long one.
Does it say how she's getting there?
Oh, that's funny. Is there anything more with Florida or the trip? I said it's a fun trip. You need a fun trip. Have you associated Florida with not fun before? Is that ever?
no,
Why is that coming up?
we had a bad trip. That trip that we took. When we went down, we were traveling 4 hours on that bus, and then we flew in the sky for like 2 hours.
Yeah. Florida's not so bad.
Okay, well that must be what that's about. Oh gosh. Anything else? Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, when I'm alone and feel like I would like some answers and I can't come to a place like this with other people, how I could get myself to listen to within more. Like asking myself how to deal with something or getting an answer from a higher being. Because I feel like they're all around me, but I feel like I can't make that reach into making a full connection with it.
So the way to do it is creating a practice for you. And I know you've had different kinds of practices, but there's something that's just incredible about taking a breathwork practice and getting it, because it raises your vibration, and it raises you above all the emotional stuff that's going on. And for those of you that are trying to connect with the angels, this one, I had to go through some pretty wild stuff to learn this, because for some of you that saw me way back when I first started this, I learned how to just lift out of my body to connect with the angels, because I had so much stuff and I didn't know it at the time. But I learned how to do that through breath work, meditation, and all these different kinds of things. Well, we get into this other energy now, and 5 years into me doing this, one day I had this experience, and literally, bam, I just fell right into my body over an emotional stuff that I hadn't dealt with. It just like, my foundation went, and took me about 2 years of feeling stuff that I'd never felt. But during that time, I knew the angels weren't there, but I couldn't access them directly. And it took going through this process of acceptance of my emotions and breathing and yoga and meditation. And I had to keep moving it up. And actually, what was the most powerful thing for me was I had always wanted to dance, and dance kind of erotically, and I was scared to death about it. I had all these internal conflicts and judgments, and Spirit said, you've got to go do burlesque. And this thing just opened up so fast. It was just unbelievable. Like, you know, when it's the right thing and you're supposed to do it, boom, 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 boom. And I spent about a year playing in the burlesque here in Knoxville and doing performances and all that. And man, once I did that and confronted those mental perceptions of how that was bad and all that, then literally I came up to a higher vibrational level again without all the baggage anymore. And then you've got to keep a steady practice of doing it, because if you don't, as strong as the energies are right now, they just have a tendency to go bring you down into the emotional realm. But you gotta keep working it and do something that keeps your vibration up so that you can see clearly. Because we see intuitively through our third eye chakra, and got to keep your energy. One thing that would be really helpful for you, have you done regular chakra clearing or done a meditation with that? I will send you one that I have recorded that you can play with, because you can do it on your own, but it will give me your email address and I'll send you one.
I've tried all kinds of like audio things to listen to, because I'm really receptive in that way.
If you just follow the steps and do your own chakra clearing method, that'll be another really powerful thing for you, because the energy gets stuck. And when you have a lot of emotional stuff going on, most of us...
Would it be helpful for all of us to learn how to do chakra clearing?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
Yes, it would. And any of you that are Reiki energy work people have probably gone through that experience. But I can give you a short version.
Would you please?
Yes. So is there anyone in here that's not familiar with our primary 7 chakras? Is there anyone? It's okay if you're not, just let me know, because I'm learning. So real quick, we have a crown chakra, which is kind of our higher connection, where energies of angels and the higher, we also have all these higher ones, but just for simple, this is where these concepts come in, mental concepts, thoughts, all that kind of stuff. Then we have our third eye chakra, which is our inner vision, how we perceive things. We have our throat chakra, which is our ability to express. We have a high heart, which is really important now. You don't see it a lot in chakra things, but the high heart is this chakra in between the throat and the main heart chakra, that it's like when it's out of balance, you kind of like swing into your head mode or into your heart mode. It's kind of hard to be in one or be balanced. You kind of go one or the other, but when this one's balanced and open, you begin to step into your ability to teach from your own experience. It ties all that together. Then the heart chakra, that is what it is. It's our
What is this one called?
high heart.
Okay, not new to me.
Violet or fuchsia color, indigo, sky blue, teal, green, emerald green. So the heart is all about, our heart space and all that. Solar plexus is our power center. It's yellow. The sacral chakra is our sense of self. Some people tie in our sexuality and all of that in between the sacral or the root. I kind of think they intermix. But the sacral chakra is orange and the root is red. So basically, with intent, everything energetically is intent. You put the intent out, it happens. The more sensitive you get, if you invoke pink light right now, and I'm going to invoke it around every single one of you in here right now with your permission, you're surrounded in pink, beautiful, healing light. And it is there now. It's just like a cloud of it around all of us. And you may feel it, that energy. So with that, all you do is imagine. It's incredible to start imagining like your crown chakra. Sit with it when you're in bed. That's what I used to do. I used to just lay there in bed and feel my chakras spinning. Start to just, oh yeah, I feel that little sensation there. And then I would ask it to open up. And it does, opens right up. So I go through with intent, open each one of the chakras.
You do first feel that open?
Yeah, now I don't so much, but if you're wanting to get more in tune with feeling the energy, it's totally do it, because it really helps you connect into the energy part of you when you start feeling the spinning. It's like, now after doing a long time, I walk up to somebody, I can tune in and I can feel your spin and so but that started from me just feeling my own. So if you start from that place, it's really powerful. So just go through each one. I would invoke the white light, which is this pure, just crystal clear, clearing light. It's white, it clears. And I just imagine that white light coming through each chakra as I feel it. And by the time I get through each one, down to the bottom, when I first started doing intuitive work, I would have to do this every time before I would do a reading, because it would open me up like that. And then I was ready to do a reading. Now I just think it and it's done, but I used to have to go through every single one every time, because it just, until I could feel I'm open and I wouldn't feel ready. So it's really awesome to do that. So I'm happy to, if anyone, I may put that, because I can't sell this meditation because I use music that someone else owned, but I may just put it on my website. And if any of y'all, it kind of helps just go and listening sometimes to someone else do it. When I first started, when I went through a lot of Doreen Virtue's classes, she had one that I liked, and I would listen to that in the morning, and it kind of helped me just kind of wake up and open up for the day. It was kind of cool.
So this is a good thing to start versus, or when you go to bed as well? Does it make a difference?
I used to do it in the morning and at night when I first started. I would do it both because I would sleep better too, clearing all that junk out from the day, all the stuff I was hanging on to. It's really powerful. Just intent. Y'all are all an aspect, we're all an aspect of God. We just tap into our God self and go. So it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
You're so welcome. So these evenings are kind of just going to be like this. We just kind of go on a journey.